As an undergraduate majoring in mechanical engineering at Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, IUPUI, Andrew McClatchy earned a coveted internship a few years ago at Rolls-Royce. The company had a solid reputation, and the experience would help McClatchy in his future endeavors. Still, McClatchy realized he didn't love what he was doing. He thought it would be ideal if he could somehow combine his passion for mathematics and numbers with basketball, a sport he followed all of his life and played in high school. Tonight, McClatchy will be doing just that. Now in his second season as the statistical analyst for Purdue's men's basketball team, McClatchy will be on the Boilermakers bench when they face Tennessee in an NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 matchup in Louisville. During the game, McClatchy will keep track of several statistics, including the number of times Purdue is able to get the ball in the paint and their number of passes. He will then communicate the information to head coach Matt Painter and the assistants. But McClatchy's main value is in the work he does analyzing Purdue and its opponents all year long and providing data that could give the Boilermakers an edge. I always knew it was going to be an uphill battle trying to get a job in this area, but I got lucky, McClatchy said. I met the right person at the right time and luckily I was able to get the job. McClatchy has worked long and hard to get to this point. He began seriously pursuing a career in basketball in 2012 after reading an article about Drew Cannon, a recent Duke graduate who was a statistical analyst for the Butler men's basketball team under head coach Brad Stevens. Cannon is now working for Stevens in a similar role with the Boston Celtics. McClatchy started reading as much as he could about the field, including Basketball on Paper, a seminal book written by Dean Oliver in 2004. Oliver, who earned his Ph.D. in environmental science and engineering from the University of North Carolina in 1994, went on to work for the Seattle Supersonics, Denver Nuggets, and Sacramento Kings. Everything I do is based off that book, McClatchy said. As a junior at IUPUI in 2013, McClatchy got his start by working as an assistant coach and providing statistical analysis for the boys' basketball team at New Palestine High School, his alma mater in suburban Indianapolis. The next year, he was hired as an assistant coach at Anderson University, a Division III program in Indiana. Most days, he attended classes in the morning at IUPUI and then drove 45 minutes to Anderson for practices, games, or meetings. He graduated from IUPUI with a 3.93 grade point average. In 2015, McClatchy enrolled at graduate school in mechanical engineering at IUPUI and reached out via email to college coaches throughout the state asking if they needed any help with statistical analysis. IUPUI assistant coach Scott Gillespie was one of the few coaches to respond. Gillespie remembered being in a similar situation a few years earlier and catching a break when the University of Memphis hired him as a graduate assistant. I was like, it doesn't hurt to meet with him and just see what it is he's talking about, said Gillespie, who is now an assistant for the Illinois State women's basketball team. After meeting with him, I saw his passion for the analytical side of the game, but he also has a very good understanding of basketball, too. McClatchy spent the 2015-16 season as IUPUI's graduate assistant while finishing his master's degree. The next season, he helped IUPUI with statistical analysis, but it was an unpaid position, so he also worked as a trader for ACES, an energy management company based in Carmel, IND. In the spring of 2017, while juggling his IUPUI and ACES responsibilities, McClatchy noticed Purdue posted an opening for a full-time statistical analyst, a newly created position. When he didn't get a response for a couple of months, he thought he hadn't gotten the job. He then spoke with IUPUI assistant Roy Hairston, who had played for Purdue in the mid-1990s. Purdue finally got back to McClatchy later that summer after returning from Taipei, where the Boilermakers represented the United States in the World University Games. During McClatchy's interview that September, he developed a rapport with the Purdue staff. He was hired within a few days. McClatchy was especially impressed with Painter, a former Purdue point guard who had been the team's head coach since 2004. He's probably the smartest human being I've ever been around, McClatchy said. He knew a lot about the analytics world before he even hired me. The first couple times we met he had ideas already, what he wanted from me, how I could help. McClatchy is particularly useful scouting opponents and providing data on their players' tendencies and lineup combinations. He also has compiled a database that tracks each of Purdue's plays, so the team can understand what plays have and have not been working and what offensive sets the Boilermakers can implement against various teams. Purdue has ranked 2nd and 5th the past 2 seasons in analyst Ken Pomeroy's adjusted offensive efficiency metric. McClatchy has had a busy few days preparing for number 3 seed Purdue's South Region game tonight against number 2 seed Tennessee. The winner faces number 1 seed Virginia or number 12 seed Oregon on Saturday. The Boilermakers, 25-9, were Big Ten regular season co-champions and are playing in their 3rd consecutive Sweet 16, which is remarkable considering they graduated 4 senior starters from last season's team that won a school record 30 games. If they can win the next 2 games, they will be in the Final Four for the first time since 1980 and only the 3rd time in program history. McClatchy is dreaming of such a scenario. The last couple of weeks have been exhausting because we've been working non-stop, but it's worth it, he said. Once the game starts and you're out there and you see all the fans and everybody going crazy, it's the best feeling in the world, really.